All right, everybody. This is Ryan Hayes, Crank Matt Wrestling Media. I'm here with Beau Mantanona from California. Um, Beau comes to us a Fargo national champion, Super 32 champion last year. Just won Who's Number One a little bit over a week ago. He had Tyler Kasak. He pinned Tyler Kasak, but Beau, man, what's up? How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Uh, you said you had practice earlier. How did that go?
It was a good practice. Had a run in the morning, some sprints, and then we got into some drilling and then did a little bit of live. Just
Yeah.
getting some guys ready for Super 32.
Speaking of, I actually had to rush to get here, and you ever had those practices, right, where you don't have time to shower, right? So
Yep.
yeah, let me tell you about this right here. So this is called Nutrizone, uh, Nutrizone Clean, right? Sponsors the podcast. It's they got body wipes, just like those other brands out there. They actually have a spray just like that, and it's the beauty of that is like it smells good, better than those other brands. Doesn't leave that film on your body. It's plant based, and they actually have like an actual bucket with wipes on them, and they're like very very saturated. So it's actually designed to where when you're at a tournament or after a practice, you can use one wipe to get your whole body as opposed to like 4 and 5 of the other brands wipes. But if you go to NutrizoneClean.com, it's some good stuff, man. It's gonna be it's just now hit the market, and I'm gonna tell you, I got to plug these guys, man. Uh, but yeah, you probably use some of that stuff every now and again, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm in a
Yeah,
rush and
yeah,
got to get clean.
yeah. I mean, and I think it's going places. The guy started it, Charlotte, North Carolina, and so he's trying to get it out there. So he's big into jiu-jitsu and stuff. So yeah, I can't wait till it hits the market. And guess what? I'm gonna send you one. I'm gonna send you a whole thing just like
Awesome.
that.
Thank you.
Um, talking about I want to talk to you about the who's number one. Getting the call and then figuring out your opponent. Just tell me how that went.
Um, you know, Once I got the call, they didn't tell me who I had at first. They just told me I was in the event. They texted me. So that was pretty excited. I was ready to go. And I kind of assumed it was Kasich. I kind of knew that. If I was going 45s, I knew it was him or Joel Adams, and he recently beat Joel Adams at the trial. So I kind of assumed it was him. And then figuring out it was him, I knew it was going to be a fun match.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll be honest that you know I got to know Tyler Kasak at at Worlds. I went over to Italy. I had to. I was a personal coach for Joe Seeley, and so we were all kind of there together. So I got to know him, and like when you pinned him, I was like, man, gosh, that's my boy. I hate that, but it, you know, it's what you did. It's like I don't even know what you call it. It was just funky. Like I mean, you just kind of made it up right off the top of the dome,
Hmm.
and uh, just tell me a little bit about that. Did you just fall into it? Was it something you worked on?
No, I worked that half series a lot. I mean, just in that room, that's something we focus on a lot is just different variations of what to do with the half. I got the half, I can go, wrist, bar, hook. I kind of pulled out his wrist like a straight bar and then switch it to a hook at the very end there. But that's something I work.
Right. And you being tall, man, like the hardest person to wrestle is a tall person,
Hmm.
especially if you're shorter. So, I get that aspect of it. It's just because you guys are lanky, you're everywhere. There's no way you can get, that me being a shorter person, I can't get you off of me, especially when
Hmm.
you guys decide that you're gonna throw legs, and it's a whole nother thing then. And so it just makes you guys have like the leverage and everything, man.
Yeah.
So now you're being ranked number one in the country. What do you feel that does for you as far as competition? I mean, now there are people who's going to be gunning for you.
Yeah,
T- tell me your thoughts on that.
Um, it's a different mindset for sure because I'm always, trying to wrestle the best guy, trying to be the number one ranked guy. And then once I'm here, it's like I'm at the top now. I got to make sure no one else gets it. So it's just defending what I've got instead of chasing it.
Right now, you're from what is it? Is it Farm Desert High School or something? How you
Palm
pronounce
Desert.
Palm
Palm
Desert,
Desert.
something like that. So Palm Desert High School. What in California? That's Southern California, like way Southern California, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're how far from the border?
Probably like 2 hours,
Two
I think.
hours.
Yeah.
Right. What do you guys do down there in California, man? I mean, I know it's beachy and stuff, but man, it's California, and I look at California just being a whole other country in and of itself.
hmm
Yeah.
Uh, where we're at, we're not really that close to the beach. We're actually in a desert.
Right.
It's really hot here. I mean, it gets up to like 120 degrees, but I mean, it's kind of like a resorty city, but we go hard here. I mean,
Like so being I hope that noise isn't that loud in the background, but yeah, so
no, it's fine.
speak speaking of yeah, I guess I should have got the concept like Palm Desert, but I've only been to California twice. So uh you're out there in California and it gets really, really hot and there's nothing but sand around you. Um being what makes that a good environment for wrestling, just in itself.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, it makes the room hot. Running outside is it's you get used to the heat. It's tough though. It's tough for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wrestling, this isn't like a big wrestling area, actually. I mean, we got our high school, but that's about it. I mean, we've raised these just through our club. We built a lot of kids up, so.
Talk to me a little bit about the coaching staff at Palm Desert.
Um, my dad's the head coach of the high school and the club, CVBJJ. And then we have a lot of different other coaches. I mean, Troy Mantanona, my brother, Anthony Mantanona, my other brother. And then a lot of other coaches, that help. They all bring something unique to the table. It's a cool coaching staff because none of them really wrestle the same. So you get a lot of different feels and different moves and all that.
Yeah, so it's something to be had because you come from a family of wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, where did the wrestling start at? Your dad, your uncle? I mean,
Wrestling in my family actually started with my uncle. My dad never wrestled, but so my uncle started it when he was in high school. He started wrestling when he was in high school, and then my oldest brother was the first one in my family to start it. He started it young, and then we all just got into it from then.
and so you're on the obviously you're starting on the youth scene. Ain't really in elementary school. What point did you realize? Okay, I actually could be pretty good at this.
Um, I mean, I was always good for a while. I mean, I think I started pretty good. I won like a state tournament a couple times, but then when it was we started doing these dual tournaments, the national duels with Team Cali Gold, and so at that tournament I started having some really good results. Beating guys from other states was something fun, and that kind of told me like I'm on that level, and then it just kind of took off from there.
And now you got your senior year coming up in California.
hmm
Uh, Committed to Michigan. Tell me a little bit about that decision.
it just kind of checked all my boxes. I wanted to go to a school, where I felt the best. So I took some visits, and the University of Michigan, it had everything I was looking for, just in terms of academics. The wrestling team, the culture, the people, the place. Ann Arbor's an awesome city, so that's kind of where I was looking.
Yeah, you kind of you. It's not. I mean, you got a semi kind of long flight out there. I mean, it's
It's
really
it's pretty
not.
far. It's pretty
Yeah.
far.
Well, I mean, it's if you get homesick, it's going to be the end of it for you because it ain't like you're going to get back too quick. So
No, no. But I'm excited. Brock's coming out the year after, so I'll have a year by myself, and then I'll have Brock with me. But I think I already have some friends out there, so I don't think it should be too bad.
well, being that the Who's number one was in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan,
Mm.
how did the Michigan wrestlers embrace you when you got there last week?
Oh, it was awesome. Just being able to work with them, and then the whole match. Have the whole squad cheering for me. It was a good feeling. Really made me feel, involved and already a part of the team.
And just what are things you do that's kind of not wrestling related, just to kind of pass time?
Um, I like fishing, playing some video games. I like playing football a lot.
Like
Not
Madden?
like the high school,
Yeah.
but just
Like,
like football in the backyard, you know,
oh,
fun stuff like that.
do you not do like Madden football? Like try to play like
Oh,
video game?
I play Madden. I play Madden, UFC, all those sports games.
Right. Now you say you go fishing. Where can you find places to fish at around there?
Golf courses.
Oh, is that? Do you not get kicked off or something? Or
Yeah, we do a lot. We just gotta, stay undercover. Don't be too loud. Stay quiet. It's tough. We get kicked out of a lot of places. We're not allowed to come back, so we got to keep finding new spots. But that's pretty much it. There's not like any lakes or oceans nearby, so we just hop the fence and go fishing in golf courses.
yeah, for sure. So, um, you're when you're at who's number one or any match, how how was like your preparation that day? Like, see the biggest thing like when you're having a big match is having to get that preparation going. Literally, like a day or two out, you got the first. Really, literally, your first match is the weigh-ins, right? You got to make sure you beat the
Yep.
scale.
Yep.
So then, what was everything that you did after that, all the way up until the matches started for you guys at 7 o'clock?
Yeah. So after I weighed in, we had like a lot of media things to do. So, pictures, press conferences. We had to get our gear. We were actually there. We weighed in at 11. And we were there till like 3 o'clock. Just doing a lot of work and stuff. And they had lunch for us there, so we ate that lunch. And then after that, um, just chilled a little bit. Went back to the hotel room, snacked. Trying to get my weight right. Went out to dinner. Got a good night's sleep. Went to sleep early. Woke up the next day. Slept in. Got some breakfast. Then I went and got a little practice in just to get a good sweat going. I didn't want to be cold, so I got a little warm up in, like a 30-minute flow around with my older brother, and then I got like a light lunch, chilled, and then went and warmed up and was ready to go.
So I was hearing a little bit about the venue being really, really hot. Did that affect you?
I liked it. I get cold after I warm up. Warming up before and then getting cold is tough. So having a hot arena didn't really affect me. I
I
liked
mean,
it.
you're from the desert,
Yeah, I'm
you
used to
get
it. I'm used to it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, I was able to kind of like watch a little bit of everybody's match. It was almost like you're showing up for an MMA fight. That's really kind of how it was.
Hmm.
I mean, you show up, you weigh in. There's like a lot of press before, after, and everybody's wanting to talk to you. When you won that match, now obviously you got a lot of followers in and of itself on your social
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
Did your followers just jump up after that?
Um, a little bit, a little bit. I think I got like 200 maybe.
Right. Uh, you got to imagine it's probably like 200 people that never heard of you before. So, there you
Hmm.
go, make an impact. How has social media affected you? Just with the negativity that can come from it, as well as the positives that could come out of it.
You know, I don't really have much negatives on my social media, but I think it's a great positive. Trying to get my name out there, especially with this whole NIL thing going on. I want to get my name known, try to get some publicity. I can start making money off that.
Yeah. So, I guess what I mean by that is not really on yours, but maybe your name being tagged in something that you really didn't want to be a part of, or an argument, or somebody's talking about how you can beat this guy, but you're like, I didn't get into that. Like, I didn't put myself in that. Like, don't put me in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like, have you ever had to deal with stuff like that?
No, not really. I mean, a little bit, but I just try to brush it off. It doesn't really affect me. Uh, other people say I know what I'm doing, so I keep dialed in.
Yeah. And this whole NIL thing, it's weird. A lot of people still don't understand it, really. Um,
Hmm.
I'm for it, but like, I'm for it in certain ways. Um, I just think that if they don't put some sort of stipulations on there, there's going to be an opportunity where um, people are gonna, especially not really coaches, but I always say like proxies of other wrestling programs. So for instance, I call you up, and let's say you hadn't committed anywhere. Just for example, you hadn't committed anywhere. I call you up or your dad up, and I say, hey, I graduated from Michigan in our wrestling. Now I'm the CEO of whatever. I'm gonna put you on $150,000 NIL, right? That's only if you go to Michigan, which it shouldn't be that way. That NIL should be an NIL, no matter what school you go to, right? So now you're like, oh, hey, that's a lot of money. So then you commit to Michigan, and then maybe after the NCAA tournament, you win the tournament, you got a dominant performance. Then a proxy of Stanford calls you and say, hey, I know you get a $150,000 NIL from Michigan. Gonna give you 200, and then I think kids should start hitting the portal, and I think that's what's going to be a problem, is that people are just going to go for money. And sometimes it's like where it's where you're going to go to be, number one, get the education that you need and then become the best wrestler that you can be. That's my thoughts around it. And I think that, I think there's got to be some kind of rule in place. And that's probably about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 million pay grades ahead of me to figure that stuff out. I could probably come up with something that about halfway makes sense, but I just think as in everything, there's pros and cons, and it's just money's the driving force of a lot of things, and sometimes you just don't want to make decisions because of money, all the time. Sure. But and you just tell us a little bit about you, though.
Just about me?
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about you in general. Yo, is this gonna be a whole thing? Like, tell me about yourself, dude.
Yeah, all right. I come from a big family. I got a lot of brothers. I think that's shaped me. I think I'm really competitive, so I'll put it on the line every single time. I think that just comes from, being in a house full of a lot of people, that just that competitiveness. I'm competing with my little brother all the time in just everything I do. My older brother is trying to catch up to them, make sure Brock doesn't catch up to me. So that drives me, in tournaments, in everything. It's just created that mindset.
Yeah. So who wins in a sibling rivalry, you or Brock?
Me, all day.
I don't know. I don't believe that. I feel like he'll sleep you, man. I feel like he'll get you. I don't know why.
Maybe one day, but right now, I think I got him.
Yeah, I could imagine in your family that you guys probably get on the borderline of it just being bad. Like, I could only imagine, like, with two very experienced like combatants in like wrestling. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can imagine stuff gets broken all the time and the holes getting punched in walls.
Yeah, it's a crazy family for sure. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Now, you mentioned your dad does BJJ. Does he do it competitively?
Not anymore. He just coaches now. He runs that gym, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kids. He does that all day.
How are you in jiu-jitsu?
I think I'm pretty good. I'm a blue belt. Went trained all the time as a kid. I trained the same amount of jiu-jitsu as I did wrestling, all through elementary school, middle school, just 2 times a week in both. And then when I got to high school, I did a lot at the beginning, and I still kind of do it on breaks, but it's tough when you got practice 6 days a week, high school practice. It's tough to get into their jiu-jitsu. I'd like to get back in, though. I enjoy it.
And now, so I want to go back onto like Michigan. When you hit college after this year, where do you want to see yourself in about 8 to 10 years? I mean, making world teams. I mean, tell me a little.
That's always the goal. I mean, I love to, represent my country. I've done it before, and it's really fun. It's a lot of fun doing that. I'd like to get back there. I didn't wrestle there for as long as I wanted to, but I really enjoyed the experience, and that's my goal, just to be a world and Olympic champ, and you know, train there at the uh, Cliff Keen Wrestling Club, and just try to be the best.
So yeah, it's crazy because like being at I had a world experience like as far as being a coach. It was crazy. Number one, I've never been out of the country before. Never been out of
Me neither. That
the,
was my
the
first time.
the continental U.S. And so we're over there. The first thing you do is like you have to kind of get the UWW membership and then become a part of the delegation. You go over there. Someone from it was in Italy, so the Italian delegation picks you up, and they basically make sure you have like everything that you need. Um, when we got over there, um, we went by the venue first and just kind of saw what everything was like. Then went to the hotel. Surprisingly, just the venue is like I said, it's the Pelican Arena. And that's where they have the Mateo Pelican tournament. And they actually have a cafeteria up there. It's actually their Olympic Training Center. That was the campus of their Olympic Training Center. So surprisingly, like the food wasn't all that good, which I'd have thought that it would have been a little bit better. But at the same time, I mean, that was just there. You go to some restaurants around there, and it was good kind of getting to know the other kids from around the country that was on there, like Kyler Larkin, Krista Castillo, Tyler Kasat, Zach Ryder. Obviously, I know Joe Seeley, Jack Forrest pretty well before going over there. Corey Hopkey, all those guys. Maxwell McKinley. I mean, so it's just going over there. So you get there, and then it was just hot. Like you obviously probably wouldn't affect you, but like there wasn't a place in there that really had consistent air conditioning. I'm just going to be real with you. And, walked everywhere, and it was. But I got me, Joe Seeley, Jack Forrest. We got to go see the Coliseum. I mean, which is kind of
That's cool.
going to see something. But you want to be an Olympic champion or national champion, Olympic champion. What are the steps? Like, when do you feel like you'll be at that level to do that? Like, what's your steps toward that?
It's I don't know if I'm there yet. It's just continue to do what I'm doing. I think I'm improving at a pretty fast rate. So if I can continue to just keep doing what I'm doing, give the effort I'm giving in, I don't think it'll be long before I'm there.
And then you got the guys in your room that's going to push you to be the best you can be. Looking forward, kind of knowing who's going to be there when you get there. Do you see yourself being able to get time right off the gate at Michigan?
It's tough because I'm not sure what weight I'm going to be yet. I'm
Right.
still growing. I could see myself being anywhere from a 49 to a 74. If I could fill out this body, this long lengthiness, and, get some muscle, I think I could be a 74 pounder. And then I don't know if I'm done growing, I can be a 49. So it's tough though. But they got good guys at every single weight. I mean, I'd like to get in there automatically, and I think that's definitely a possibility. But it's tough to say.
How tall are you?
Like 5'11", 5'11".
5'11". So you're actually getting taller.
Yeah.
Do you think, man? Like you're gonna have a heck of an advantage. Do you? What kind of wrestler you consider yourself? Are you more of a banger? Or do you like to funk and sit the corners and scramble, get height, come out the back type deal?
Yeah, I think I'm more funky. I like using my length to my advantage. I have it, so I'm always trying to use that. People shoot on me. I know how to sit corner cradle. I like cradles on top, and just rolling around with people. I think I have an advantage just because my length. And then with the jiu-jitsu background, it gives me the ability to be comfortable where other people aren't.
Where do you feel like your struggles are at wrestling like this? That the one thing you need to just start to get better at. That's really a hole in your game.
I think I need to get better at hand fighting. I think that was kind of exploited in my Fargo finals. I haven't felt that, so I went out there and he hand fought me to death and teched me pretty quickly. So that's just something I've been working. And my brothers have been telling me that college hand fighting is something I need to get better at, and that's something I'm probably going to struggle with. So they've been trying to work that with me since they've been back, and
Yeah,
I think it's been helping a little bit.
yeah. It's hand fighting is one of those things where, I mean, if you're not good at it, it could be like a make or break. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some hand fighting that literally broke the best of a wrestler, out there. I always say, because I help coach the kid. Joe Seeley's got good hand fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know really what happened in that match with Angelo Ferrari. I don't really know what Joe Seeley showed up to that. It's definitely not the one that I was used to. It was a whole thing because we talk about social media, and it's you get on social media, you got people there, you're blasting this kid, and you're reading comments. Oh, Joe wasn't able to do this magic stuff that he always does. It's like, you're really talking about a 17-year-old kid who just won a world title, and like it wasn't like he struggled to win a world title. I mean, the dude teched his way through the whole world.
Yeah,
And
he gave up like 1 point, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he gave it 1 point on a push out. I mean, he
Yeah.
gave up 1 point on a push out, and but you score 55 points, and it's upsetting because I don't really know how the preparation went down at Lake Island Prep, but at the same time, he avenges a loss against Nico Ruiz. So, it's like, what did he do between the Nico Ruiz match and the Angelo Ferrari match? That's kind of the big secret, but hopefully he'll be able to get it going again. I know he's got like a elite 8 coming up, and journeyman Super 32 type deal. So there's room to get better for him. But I hate seeing that, because that's my guy. And but it's Jax for us. It's good that he won. Jax is like a shorter version of you, because he is lanky for that kind of 116 to 130 weight range that he's in.
Yeah.
And he seems to do a lot of kind of what you do. So it's like almost kind of who you remind me of when you're out there wrestling. So I mean, now what's a match that, and it could be Fargo, but any match that you lost that you just wish you could get back, where you should have won that match and you just did something where you just messed up royally. If you could just get a match back from the past, what match would that be and why?
I think it's got to be my world match, my first round of world. I think I went out there a little bit nervous and I didn't attack. I think I was a better wrestler than him. I was really nervous going out there, and I just don't think I wrestled, the greatest. I prepared really hard for that tournament, and then I wish I can get that one back for sure.
When you say you was nervous, like, what made you nervous about it? Being a kid that's wrestled so many wrestling matches, what about that match made you nervous?
I think I got in my own head. Just the stage, world championships, the big name, wrestling a guy from a different country. I didn't know that I was. It's tough because 30 seconds left. I'm down by like 2 points. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm a better wrestler than this guy, and I start picking it up there at the end, and it was just too late. Yeah, I think I was just getting in my own head. I blew up the event bigger than it probably was, and just kind of hurt myself.
Yeah, I always try to say the environment changes, but the act doesn't. That's
Yeah.
more of a. I got that quote from a guy named Chael Sonnen, who is a retired mixed martial artist, and it's like, the mat's the same size, it's the same rule set. It's the environment changes. That's the only thing that changes. Sometimes that gets to people when you just treat it like, hey, it's nothing I hadn't done before type of deal. Something I want to ask you about that you've been asked that a bunch of times. Your California State Finals. I know that people ask you about it, and of course, I looked at it. First of all, the kid you wrestled. I mean, I hadn't heard really. Obviously, he's pretty good if you kind of kept that close to a match with you. But I never really heard much of him really on the whole like national scene. But I know he's like committed to Virginia or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I saw that and I was like, well, little homie he flew across the country. Like, I'm leaving Clovis, California, wherever he's from, and I'm like, all right, dude, like
East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally 3.5 hours from me, like where I'm sitting at right now. But nothing about this is that kid's fault. You get what I'm saying? So, and I think what officials have to understand is that these kids work hard to become state champions, national champions, world champions, and that right there was just that was just bad. It was a downright very, very egregious call, and the crazy part about it is that guy lives to ref other wrestling matches, but you can't get that match back.
No.
I mean, I've never heard of any sort of like remediatory training for officials when they know it's obviously messed up. But how did that make you feel in the moment? The moment you figured out, I just got screwed.
It was like that. I get to the line getting ready to get my hand raised. They already announced over the speaker, Beau Mantanona as your state champion. 138 pounds. I'm shaking his hand. I'm celebrating, looking at my coaches like, I did it. Like, this is awesome. And then I shake hands without even telling me they raised the other person's hand. And it's just like, what? I look around and my dad and my coach, the ref, just really confused what was going on. And then, I kind of assumed that they didn't give me the points right there. And then it sucked, just knowing that I had there's nothing I could do. It was out of my control. I thought I wrestled the match good enough to win the match. And then it's just like, nope, like it's done. At the end of my season.
Now, and then at the same time, obviously there's no sort of like instant replay and all that stuff, which not there now, but it's coming in high school. I mean, it's the evolution of this, hasn't took us there yet, but eventually it's going to be replay. Because I know that there was like whatever your local news is did a segment on it. Have you heard any feedback from anybody like an apology or the guy saying, hey man, maybe I did mess up? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be an all-out apology. Hey man, perhaps I might have messed up. Have you gotten anything from this official? And then
no.
Do you worry about the backlash that he's probably getting going into next year, where he may be at a tournament you're at?
I hope he doesn't really ref any more matches of mine. I'd like to stay away from him as an official. But it was an unfortunate call. It wasn't even really the main ref. It was the main ref switched the call, but it was the side ref that pulled him aside and said, that wasn't. Well, I don't know what the side ref pulled him to the side. They talked for like a quick second, then they came back and switched it.
Right. So even though it's for a California state title, in the grand scheme of things, with what you've achieved outside the realm of the actual high school season, does it really matter that much? I mean, it's not like the match is a make or break you getting a scholarship or
Yeah.
I mean, I think schools like Michigan probably graded you more on Super 32, your Fargos, your Worlds, tournaments that don't even have anything to do with your high school, right? You know, so but so in the grand scheme of things, I mean, is it is it really that bad? You know what I mean, in a sense, if you with all the other success that you've had?
You know, it's in the moment. I mean, looking back on it, it's like, you know, it sucks that it happened. I got to move on. But in the moment, it sucked because, you know, that was just one of my major goals. I mean, I had like six major goals going into high school, and it was like world team member, Super 32 champ, you know, who's number one champ, Doc B champ, state champ. And I mean, state champ is the only one I haven't done yet. So in the moment, it was like, you know, I achieved my goal, you know, winning a state title, winning the biggest tournament with the Palm Desert Singlet on is something I've always wanted to do. But, you know, it didn't happen last year, so I'm hoping to get it this year.
You know, which is crazy because you've achieved so much to like not already won a state championship. It's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
State tournament's tough. The California State Tournament is a
well,
really tough
because
tournament.
in it like only 2 classifications, right? Like
There's only one class.
one classification.
Yeah.
And I see, and that's the thing. Like, you know, here in North Carolina, there's like 4 classifications. So I mean, it's kind of, I mean, you really don't kind of see who the actual. You could kind of guess like who would win the overall state championship if there wasn't classifications. Like we got a kid here that's ranked nationally at 113. 113. His name's Cam Stinson, Fargo All-American, made it to the semis. We all know that he would win it in any classification out there, right? So, but like to me, like a true state champion is like you just have it all, like
You're the
a
best in
go.
the state.
Yeah. I think they look at it more so of the like competitive. Like, okay, well, since a 1A school that has X amount of enrollment, they're not going to be able to get the kind of athletes that a 4A school is going to get. So I kind of understand why that's in place. But at the same time, if you work hard enough, that part shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of 1A kids that were just as good as 4A kids. So, I mean, but, you know, at the same time, I understand where you're coming from. The only reason why I brought that up as far as all the tournaments outside of high school wrestling, because I just read yesterday where the school that Jax Forrest goes to, Bishop McCourt, you know, they kind of suspended their whole season last year. Well, they had about 6 kids that came in there, transferred in for this season. The school kind of like self-reported. And when you kind of self-report something, it's like, hey, you know, we just got these 6 kids coming in, so make sure you know what's going on. And then they made those 6 kids ineligible to wrestle. But then again, it's like the whole team was already ineligible for the postseason still from what was dropped down on them last year. But at the same time, I look at it like, I mean, yeah, everybody wants to win a prestigious PIAA state title in the state of Pennsylvania, obviously. Yeah. But at the same time, those kids are at cadet trial, Super 32, Elite 8, like all your big they can still wrestle in your Power 8, your Iron. They can wrestle in all those tournaments to where you win those tournaments. Who cares if you win a Pennsylvania state title, right? Those tournaments are way tougher to win. Jax Forrest, a freshman coming in, ranked number 1 in the country and hadn't touched a high school mat, like official high school mat, as representing the actual school that he goes to and does academics at. So, you know, I hate it because like they obviously if you got people showing up there, especially I always say the Compound, Ranger Pride, Bishop McCourt, they're like the lightweight capital of the world, kind of like Uriah Faber's Ultimate Fitness, right? They had all the lightweights there. You know, that's kind of what Bishop McCourt is. So it's like, no matter what, even if your kid's the most inept kid, if you took your kid and say, you know what, you want to get better at wrestling, you may not hit the lineup at McCourt, but they do enough tournaments to where you're going to still hit the best competition. You're going to be in that practice room. Mason Gibson, Jax Forrest, Sam Herring, all those guys like that. You're going to get better just by being in that room. So I think that's why a lot of them do it. But sorry to get off into a litany. You're 18 years old. I want to ask this question, you being from California. Where do you stand at politically? Just wondering.
I don't know. I don't really know much about it.
Well, I just know that California is a crazy state for a lot of stuff. So how do you deal with some of the stuff that goes on in California, man?
It's a little expensive. Gas prices are pretty expensive, but I don't really think it affects me much.
You don't work.
No. I'm not at that age yet where it's gonna affect me. So
what are gas prices up there? About a gallon, right? What is it?
I think it just got under $5. It's just getting back down. It was up pretty high though.
Yeah, California is an expensive state to live in. I think I told you I've been out there twice. I was in San Francisco for a couple of days, and then I was in LA for a couple of days. And so I'm in San Francisco, and I go to a Hooters, and they had I'm a grown man, so I said they had half price drinks, right? Drinks. And so I ordered one. I was like, all right, I'm just going to pay for that one. And it was like $8. And I'm thinking well, where I'm from, that drink's like $3. So
yeah,
so I'm kind of looking up the cost of living there. And I'm you would have to have a job that's going to have to really, really pay you real good salary north of about $70,000, $75,000, $80,000 to even just survive there. But but hey, you're a California kid. That's what's made you who you are. So the floor is yours before we end this and talk about anything that you want. What's some advice you can give to people that wants to kind of accomplish and have the same goals and accomplish what you've accomplished now?
Just don't be afraid to fail. Just hit all the big tournaments. I know a lot of people, they do what they're comfortable with, and they'll just try to chase competition. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. So just search for that. And I've lost a bunch, but I think it's made me who I am.
For sure. Well, Beau, listen, I appreciate your time. All 43 minutes and 15 seconds of it. And matter of fact, before I'll let you roll, do you watch NFL? Do you watch NFL football?
Yep.
Who's your favorite team?
I got two teams. I like the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. Those are my teams.
Right. So I'm actually in. I don't want to say we because I don't play for them. I'm just a fan being a Carolina Panthers fan, and we seem to figure out a way to rip the feet out of the jaws of opportunity every year. So, but on top, I am a Braves fan, and I've been a Braves fan for a long time. But you ever go out and see an NFL game? Have you been to a couple of them?
No, I actually haven't. I went to my first college football game.
What was
the day after who's number one?
Oh,
Michigan. So that was the only game I've ever seen. But I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, put watching an NFL game on your bucket list, right? Yeah, that's your first college football game.
Yep.
Beau, man, you live a boring life, man. Come on, man.
I know, I got you. It's tough. I'd like to see one. My little brother Brock has. He saw one in San Diego when the Broncos played the Chargers. He said that was fun. So I'd like to do that. That's something I want to do.
For sure. Well, I know I'll be running into you and talking to you a little bit more, but again, thanks for being on the show. I hope you accomplish what you want to accomplish in this sport.
Thank you.
Continue to work hard and even though you're going to have speed bumps in the road to success, just get over them and keep on trucking, my man.
Mhm.
I do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me on.
Everybody, that was Brock Beau Mantanona. Good kid. He's going to be going places. Keep up with him. Matter of fact, Beau, you're still on. Can you still hear me? Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back on. I'll make sure you.
All right.
Hey, tell these people your if they want to follow you on Instagram and things like that. What's your stuff?
Instagram, Beau Mantanona. Twitter, Mantanona Beau. TikTok, Beau Mantanona.
Oh, you're
Pretty
a TikToker.
simple. I got a couple videos.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you about Beau, right? So Beau is one of those kids where, like, you follow him, he like a non-follower back, dude. Like, I think I interviewed you at Super 32, I think, and you only followed my platform back like a week ago. I'm like, I should have just like booked a whole plane ticket out in California and just threw hands with you. Me and you threw hands right now, who would win? If me and you threw hands right now, who would win?
Probably you.
Nah, I doubt it, man. You got that reach on me. But hey, so you guys go follow him, follow his success, and all right, Beau. I swear to God, you can go now. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Make sure you check out NutriZoneClean.com, NutriZone Clean, and freaking body spray. I mean, just that simple. Just spray it on you. Boom. Just a little bit of mist. Those guys are doing well. NutriZoneClean.com. Thanks for joining the podcast, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay safe out there.